Am I live? I think I am. Let me get started here. Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I will be your host this evening. And I want to extend to you my gratitude for watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. And let me mute this here. I don't know why this does this every time, but eventually I'll figure it out. Anyways, if you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to attend the after party and to attend this meeting, this Zoom meeting we're doing. So here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench, and underneath there, I'm going to post today's link momentarily with today's date. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/S as in sunset, M as in Mary, F as in Frank. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. And if you're inclined to not come in and just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or your comments in the chat box, which, by the way, you only can do that during a live stream. You can't enter any comments in the chat box during a replay. So again, remember, every Monday and Friday, 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, come on in, put your question in there or your comment, and that's that. Now, I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show, but understand, sometimes even me, I can't get a word in myself. So be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comment. Okay. Now, if you find Stunthangar Video Hangouts or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, like I do, please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And when you subscribe, hit the notification bell and select all so that whenever Sparky or myself comes on, you'll be notified. And share the videos, and please comment. That helps. Now, I don't go on Sparky's YouTube channel, but just twice a week, today and Friday. So if you want to get a quick response from me, go ahead and make a comment. And I'm going to make a video, but I haven't yet. But go to my channel, which is Flying Control Line Stunt. It's all one word. All the letters are there. Flying Control Line Stunt. And I will get an alert, a notification from my phone, and I will be able to answer you promptly, excuse me. Now, when you do all the activities I mentioned, the subscribing, the sharing, the thumbs up, the comments, that helps the channel grow. That helps our analytics. So please do all that, but also consider joining our YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And when you are a member, I'll know that when I see you in the chat box. You have a special icon that I know is for only members. And with that, you also be able to watch the member-only videos that Sparky has uploaded. There's some videos from Al Rabe that are only for members only. And once a month, he has a question and answer period for members only. So there are some perks to that. And he's always trying to add more value to it as well. Now, you can also use the super chat. That's in the chat box section on YouTube. Down below, you'll see like a big $sign. And that's for those who don't want to be committed to a monthly, like $4.99 a month, like $4.99 that I mentioned. That's a monthly subscription. But you can just do the super chat. It's just a one-time or hopefully do that more than once, but it's not an ongoing subscription. And please do that as well. That also helps. Now, keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't say anything, do anything that you wouldn't do in front of your kids or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to post the link. Oh my goodness, I got to get that link all set up. So just bear with me while I set up that link for the YouTube for the Stunthangar people. Just a minute, and I'll get that set up. I normally have this done set up prior to this, so I'm going to try to chew gum and walk at the same time. I went out flying today, and the plane is showing me some improvement. I actually have done some surgery on the plane. I actually moved the engine a little bit further aft, and I like how the plane responded. It's a little bit more responsive. I still think there's more to do with that, so I'm hopefully going to do that as well. When they end the show, the next couple of days, I'm going to be cutting into that plane some more and moving the motor further back. It's a Strega, and it's designed for a 60, but I put a Stalker 81, so it's a lot bigger, maybe even heavier motor. I suspect it is heavier, and so I didn't notice that it was nose heavy. I've been flying it for years, and after flying some other planes that were much more responsive, I realized that this plane is nose heavy. So I was initially adding tail weight to the plane, but I didn't really like doing that, and I did it, but it's already adding weight to an already beast, or some people might say it's a heifer, big heavy plane. And so I've already taken off 2 ounces, and I'm hoping to continue. I'm kind of greedy. If I like something, I want more. And so that's kind of what's happened here. Let me see. I'm going to set up the invite for, here we go. Just bear with me. I'm still trying to chew gum and walk at the same time. But that's what's been going on with me. And hopefully our guests, when they come in, they will have some things that they can share with us that they've been doing. So I'm just about ready for posting the link. So for those of you who are waiting for me at Stunthangar, it's coming. It's in the mail. I'll be there shortly. It's let's see here. Did I do that right? Let's see here. That doesn't look like the right link. No. I'll do this again. So oh, here we go. Copy invitation. Okay, there we go. So I got to copy the invitation to this space, and then I'm going to post it in. Here we go. That looks more like it. So it's posted now. All right. So that's going. So let's see here what's going on the control panel and on the channel. Let me see who's in the chat box. Let me go over here. Let me switch to Sparky's channel. Switch to that. Go over here. Looks like Tom Rammel's in. He's put in his like. Thank you very much, Tom. I'm not quite to the control panel yet. Just bear with me for a second here. Hey, Tom.
Hi.
Hi. Let me.
I went surfing with my brother.
Oh wow! I didn't see. I heard the small voice. Now all I saw was Grandpa. I was like, did he do something to his voice? I'm hang on a second. I'm actually still posting the everything up I got to do. Let's see here. Okay. All right, now we're in the control panel on YouTube, and so Michael Geller says, "Evening, Charles. I missed a couple of the streams because my phone stopped working." Wow. Well, I'm glad you got your phone working again. And I saw, Michael Geller, that you actually have subscribed to my channel, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. 9 or 10 videos posting the have a chance to check those out and like those videos.
Charles.
Simpson. Hey guys. Hey Mike, good to see you. Just a minute. Let me finish with the chat. Todd Simpson says, good evening. I'm working on striping off the moniker. I hear YouTube in the background. Someone have a tab open?
Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering. Hang on a second.
Charles. Hey guys. Hey Mike, good to see you. Just a minute. Let me finish with the chat.
Can you see me?
I see you.
Uh,
I still hear the other tab.
Yeah, I'm
can you hear
wondering.
me?
Okay, turn this one off.
Or you can just mute it. If you want to keep it open, you can keep it open, but just mute that sound on that YouTube plane. All right, I think you got it. Thank you. Let me finish. I'll continue with Todd Stimson. He says, good evening, all. I'm working on stripping off the monocoat from my Cardinal I was gifted. What are you all working on? Well, I'm working on my red Strega. I've been modifying it. I'm moving the engine further aft of the plane. I actually moved it back 1/8 of an inch, and I went out for a flight today to see how it flew, and it flew better. But like in my introduction, I said that I'm kind of greedy. When I like something, I want more. So I'm gonna move the engine back further. I'm probably gonna have to cut off the nose ring now. I was able to do that before because it wasn't up against the nose ring, but I'm gonna continue to go that route until I get to the end of my rope. So, and then Mike Rigel says, evening, Todd. I've been stocking up on building materials and was about to buy some plans, but had to buy a new phone instead. I hear you. And then Mike Rigel says, I watched a video of your Strega yesterday, Charles. Thank you. Well, I have at least, I can think of 3 Strega videos. I don't know which one you saw. If you let me know which one. Was it the one of me displaying the Strega? This is before I even flew it, or is it the one actually me flying? I have at least 3 videos of me flying that Strega. But thank you for watching the videos. And Michael Gill says, it's your voice, Charles, playing back. Yeah, I know. I think we've remedied that because I don't hear the loop anymore. Anyways, Tom, you was the first one in, Tom, and now I don't see you. You still there, Tom? All right.
Yeah.
So who's your grandson here?
This is Isaiah.
Hey, Isaiah, nice biblical name. Fantastic.
Wave.
Hi, Isaiah. I'm so glad you came in. How old are you?
Yeah. Do you want to talk to me?
Yes. How old are you?
How old are you?
5.
You're 5?
Yeah.
Wow. So are you in high school or are you in kindergarten?
Kindergarten.
I'm not in kindergarten.
You're not in kindergarten yet?
Preschool.
You're in
Yeah.
preschool? Okay. I'm sure you're going to get through preschool real quick and they're going to promote you. Because you come from good stock. You come from your grandpa and whoever's on your mom's your other family member's side. Hey, oh man, thanks, John Miller. He's gonna share that piece. That looks like the Works. Is that the Works? Yes.
Oh,
Fantastic. I know you're chewing. I know. I'm like a perfect waitress. How's your food? Your mouth's full. I understand. And Mike, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, kind of up and down and trying to get some stuff done, trying to build both the Excalibur that I started all those years ago, and I'm also trying to rebuild for the 4th time and actually get it built. The first thing I started doing when I was getting on here, the Pentland Spitfire Stunner.
All right. Hey,
You're gonna love that Excalibur. That is a good airplane.
yeah, John has a picture of him with the Excalibur on our calendar.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a good plane. I've never flown one. I haven't even seen one in person unless I didn't realize what I was looking at. But that's good. And I totally understand, Mike. I had a Nobler ARF. If you can get this, it was an ARF, and it took me like 8 years to finish. So I was modifying. It wasn't like I was just building it as per kit. I was modifying it, which I can't help myself. I modify just about any kit that I get my hands on.
Yeah, hopefully I can make some progress here pretty quick.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll find time and motivation to do it. I watch Wendy Unowski and Sparky quite a bit for motivation. But out here in Southern California, I mean, it's beautiful flying weather. I think it was around 86 degrees when I went flying today. And the winds were probably, my guess would be 8-mile-an-hour winds, you know, sun heaven kind of weather. And I have that kind of weather more times than not. So it's hard to build a plane when you look outside and it's a beautiful, beautiful day to go flying, you know? And my flying feels like less than 10 minutes away. You know, the only thing that keeps me from flying is my wife, kids, work, and having to eat, you know, and sleep. But other than that, you know, I have lots of opportunity to go flying.
If you get around those things, life would be perfect, wouldn't it?
Yes, I know. Yeah, yeah. Mike Gill has some more to say. Just a second, guys. He says, big storm just started where I'm at. Thunder and lightning. Well, take care, Mike Gill. Be safe. And then Todd Stimson says, Mike Gill, I have so many items in my cart at Brodax. Oh, I know the feeling. I actually am expecting the Brodax order to come in pretty soon. I've got to thin it out a bit. Yeah, and he has a smiley face. Then Mike Gill says, the Strega video was you by yourself. You used a Stooge and flew very good flight. Thank you. Yeah, that was I remember that one, and that was a pretty good flight. The Strega is a good flying plane, and
Yes.
but you know what? I really think there's an opportunity to make it fly so much better. I mean, I was able to fly pretty well. I've gotten as high as 3rd place in advance at the state with that plane. But I really think, I am so excited. I can't even tell you how excited I am. Doing these modifications, moving the plane back. I took off 2 ounces already. I am so excited. As far as I'm concerned, there's blood in the water. Look out, because I'm going to get that Strega turning on a dime. And when I get that happening, it's going to be lights out.
Yeah.
Mike Gill says, hey guys, I tried to order some plans from Aero Products the other day and couldn't access their website. Do you have any ideas on that? I don't. Does anybody have any ideas on what's going on with Randy Smith's website?
I don't know, but I also found out that the site here associated with Stunthangar,
Oki Air?
Huh?
Oki Air
Oki Air.
Products?
Yeah, he's kind of missing in action too. People are wondering if he's okay. So maybe they had a big conference somewhere.
Maybe, hopefully. I hope both those gentlemen, you know, Randy Smith and Russell Onia.
Yeah.
I hope those gentlemen are doing well. And then Michael Gill says, I'm looking forward to seeing how it flies after your changes. Well, so do I. I am so excited. What happened to me was, I just had an epiphany. I remember I had this Nobler, another Nobler that a friend of mine gave me. He didn't like the way it flew it. He had a LA 40 in it, and it was nose heavy. And I took it with the understanding that it flew nose heavy. I was putting in the LA 46, which is lighter, but I still thought I should move the motor back. Because, you know, the directions tell you how far they measure. They give you a measurement, if I remember. I don't know what that measurement was, but they tell you where to place it. And I assume my friend Mike Mulligan, if you're listening, I assume Mike Mulligan put it according to the directions. Well, I started moving it back about 1/8 of an inch, and I noticed that the plane started flying better and better. Hey, Eddie, and hey, Howard. And I continued to do, I think I did that 3 times in total. So you figure I moved the engine back 3/8 of an inch. And when I did that on this Nobler, next thing I know, that plane is coming out of a corner, a sharp corner, no bobble, came out flat. And I was just, it gave me an immense confidence doing reverse wing overs or squares. And unfortunately, I was doing overhead 8, and this was a stock Nobler R of Top Flight. And I don't know if you're familiar with the metal, but they have chintzy metal in there. I mean, it's just cheap metal. And I had the clevis pin. There's a little small, I mean, that clevis pin must be smaller than a 64th of an inch. I mean, it's just a small little pin, and it broke. And it broke at the flap horn. So I lost control of the plane, and the plane went in on the other side of the circle, full speed, straight down. And I wish I had video of it, because Michael Gill, you want to see a fantastic video, that would have been a fantastic video, seeing that plane go in. But I don't have any video of it. But I never forgot how well that plane flew. Oh, and speaking of flying, Sparky, I was watching Sparky this weekend, and Sparky says something, ask Charles, and it was in regards to, does a light plane penetrate the wind? Because some people think, or have the opinion, that a too light of a plane is not good in the wind. Well, I can testify that 58.5-ounce June R went into the wind with no problem. I mean, I can personally attest to that. That plane, and I mean, it went into the wind. And you know, my biggest problem when I first was flying the June R was I wasn't familiar with flying a really good flying plane. I mean, I'll just be quite frank. I've only flown my planes most of my life. I've flown some other friends' planes, but these were planes that they built. They weren't expert people. I mean, yet they weren't expert at that time. But so I really haven't flown that good of a plane until I flew Sparky's plane. So a light plane can go through the wind. And once I overcame that, and then I realized that I had really had a good plane in my hand, but I really did not want anything to happen to Sparky's plane. So I really kept Sparky's plane out of any sort of area that I would feel uncomfortable with. And I was just getting familiar with the plane. And my first official with that June R, my first official flight, I had only had like 3 patterns before that flight. I mean, and because I went there and I was flying Sparky's plane, he gave me his handle to try, and I thought the handle was trimmed to that plane, but I discovered after I flew it that it wasn't set up right. So then I just discarded that handle, and I had brought a handle. I used my handle. So I spent 2 days working out, fixing the handle. At first I was bouncing out of corners, and I had to extend the legs, a lot of stuff before I actually did the full pattern. And that's why I think I had a day and a half of practice. And then Wednesday at the Nats, my first official flight, I think I had 2 or 3 patterns. I still was not really comfortable with the plane, but I kept it out of danger, and the plane did fly better than I allowed it. Let me tell you, I had some tight reins on that plane. I kept it, you know, pretty high, and I only did what I was comfortable. I did everything, but I was very cautious with it. Anyways, enough about me. Eddie, I saw you came in. Thank you for coming in. And Howard, thank you for coming in. And John, did you want to say something, John? But now your mouth's full, right?
Now my mouth's full, but I can talk around it. I must have a little Italian in me. I'm not sure. Not disparaging the Italians. I actually wanted to a heads up to one of our listeners on YouTube in Italy. Sent me a PM today, asking about a particular design and that. And I just want to ask him if he's listening. His name's Arnoldo. And Arnoldo, if you're listening, send me another PM with your email in it so that I can answer you back directly. Okay? And we'll be able to talk that way. I don't know. I'm sure I speak a little Spanish. You might speak a little English. We'll get it through. Back to you there, Chief.
All right. Well, Howard, you was the 4th one in. Did I give you a chance to say anything, or do you have anything to say, Howard?
Where'd he go? I see Howard's bench, but I don't see Howard.
The answer is no and no.
Okay, that'll work. So what's going on?
See what you did.
Oh, here we go. Here he comes. I see him. That's a big shot.
Nice shot.
Hey, Eddie. Hey, Howard. What's going on with you, Howard?
What's going on with me?
Yeah.
Nothing, just cleaning up the frog stuff in the shop.
Okay.
Did you evict your frog?
Second frog today.
Okay.
Could be the first one who came back. He went to a hideout used by a previous frog.
He's probably lived there for years.
Yeah, that's, well, sometimes there's evidence of him being here and sometimes there isn't. So I took him farther away this time.
Bigger, longer walk, huh?
Yeah, it's it'll take some hopping. About 100 yards.
Oh, you probably got a toad.
Could be a toad.
So Tom, your grandson wanted to say some more. I interrupted him.
Go ahead. You can talk now. What do you want to tell him what you did today?
I want to tell him I have a first.
No, tell him what you did today.
Why can I not tell him?
Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Did you go surfing today? Tell him about that.
I'm surfing with Ethan, but not right now because it's nighttime.
He went surfing today
Oh, okay.
with his brother Ethan. He and his brother Ethan went surfing today.
Oh, very cool. Now, is this the young man that I saw that you was towing in the boat on the lake?
Yes.
You mean his sister?
Yes. Isaiah is one of the grandsons that was being towed.
Fair.
And Ethan is his younger brother. He's 3.
Wow.
Wow.
So wave good night and say you're gonna go night night now.
All right, Isaiah. I want to see a video of you
Isaiah.
flying. You're old enough to fly a control line plane.
He flew a radio controlled plane.
Oh, that'll work.
With a radio control plane.
Wow.
On a buddy box.
On a buddy
Fly a
box.
control line when you feel it. You're gonna go, wow, Grandpa, I want to fly a control line more. I can feel the airplane. It's the original RC. The real control is control line.
All right.
Thanks for bringing them on.
Ugh.
And you guys, let me catch up on the chat box. Minnesota Mike says, nice, Todd. That's in Madeira. Oh, excuse me, I skipped. Let me go ahead of that. Todd Stimson said, at Minnesota Mike, cool. I'm planning on going to the Golden State Stunt Championship this October. Well, that'd be great, Todd. I hope to be there too. So it's one of my favorite contests. And if it's going to be your first time there or not, that you should enjoy it. And then Minnesota Mike says, nice, Todd. That's in Madeira. And then Todd says, at Minnesota Mike, has got a buddy in Clovis I haven't seen in a few years, going to reconnect when I'm at Golden State. And then Minnesota Mike says, nice. And then Joe McKenna says, who are these guys? I am new to stunt. Only one I see identifying themselves are Howard Rush and John Miller. Others are either first name or just Stunthangar.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Charles Carter, Joe, and I'm on Sparky's channel right now, and Sparky is Stunthangar. So, and Sparky also has the forum that's by the same name, Stunthangar. So Sparky and myself show up as Stunthangar. And the other guys, you guys can go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Yeah, my name is Mike Millard, and I'm in Colorado, in very rural Colorado, trying to get back into control line slowly.
Very rural.
Speaking of, go ahead.
I'm Eddie Suter. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
Good to know you.
And go ahead, Howard, because John's eating still.
Oh, I thought I was introduced. I'm Howard Rush. I'm in Olympia, Washington, or thereabouts.
Cool.
Okay, now I can talk around it. My name is John Miller. I'm out in the desert in southern Utah. little town called Delta.
Okay. You're
And
probably the closest to me then, John. I'm in outside of Trinidad, Colorado.
Oh, wait, that's down in the Four Corners area, isn't it?
No, it's the eastern part. I'm right just north of Raton, New Mexico.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Mike.
probably closer to you than anybody else here.
Yeah.
Mike, how far are you from Colorado Springs?
About 160 to 200 miles south.
Okay. Well, let me know when there's a contest in that area vicinity, because I have a son stationed at Colorado Springs,
Huh.
and I'm interested in making kind of a visit and compete at a contest. And
I've kind of asked a few people. I don't even know if the Jeffco modelers or anybody's doing any contests at all around here anymore. I haven't heard of any.
well, let me know if you do, but then that'll be a motivation for me to go there. I mean, my son is motivation enough,
Yeah.
and my grandson and granddaughter as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
But it'd be nice to even show my grandchildren me flying at a contest if it's
I
possible.
think the name of the club in Colorado is the Colorado State Air Modelers. I think that's it. At least part of that, if that's not completely right, part of it is. And they fly out of Denver and in the Denver area along that side of the slope.
They have a contest at Labor Day, the Front
Yeah.
Range Airport typically.
I thought the last I had heard that contest had disappeared about 5 years ago or something.
Oh, shucks.
Because I went and looked at it a couple times before I even got involved with Stunthangar.
Check with them because I think they're still active.
Huh. That'd be
Colorado
nice.
State
I'd go up.
Modelers?
And
I'd
I
go
know
up
there
to
were
Denver
some
for my
guys.
birthday then.
I know there were some guys flying south of Denver that were flying out in the Boonville Reserve.
Yeah.
Very good. And Joe McKenna, there's one more person who's away from the camera. That's Tom Rammel, and he lives in Minnesota.
Okay.
And that's who's on right now. But we will have more guests, Joe. Usually, as the night progresses, we'll even have more attendance.
I
Well,
was
we got a
just
lot of
on
people.
Stunthangar earlier, and Peabody posted an interesting post. A very new windy video showing motorcycles and airplanes.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was cool.
I saw there are another one. I saw one recently where he explains why he gave up model airplanes. Is that the same one you're talking about?
No, this is a brand new one.
Okay.
And he gave his big job to a guy.
Oh, yeah, Tom Luciano.
Yeah, Tom.
That's the one I saw. Yeah, that's
Okay, I saw that today. That was pretty cool.
yeah. Well, it was
It'd
also
be nice to get Windy back. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it'd be nice.
well. I am looking forward to Miles. I can't see how his grandson's named Miles, by the way. I can't see how Miles can go into the Spitfire room and not want to fly a model airplane. So I'm so hopeful that
that would work either. How could you not want to with all that beautiful artwork hanging up
Right.
there?
So we'll see. Hopefully that does happen. And then back to the chat box. Joe, oops, excuse me. Man, it's kind of active. He says, okay, who's Duncan? That's his name. Hello all, newbie here. What's about? And hey, welcome, who's Duncan? I appreciate that name. That's a great name. And then Banana Bowie, another good name. Hey everyone, what's the word? Oh, that's
Thunderbird.
Hey, just listen and you will find out and learn what the word is, man. Anyway,
Bird's the word.
yes,
Bird.
That's the word.
yes. Yeah, so
But you-
and then, Jack Snapley, he gives us thumbs up and shows model airplanes and a smile with sunglasses on. Then Joe McKenna says, "Thank you, Paul and others confusing without knowing who is who. I I spectated at the last three Nats. Watched from the pits. Well, very good, Joe. Thank you very much for your attendance. I appreciate that." And then Mike Rigel says, "I'm Mike. Uh, I need to get better glasses or move the screen closer to me. I think it's Mike Galipsky. He says, I'm in South Carolina. Also just now getting back into it now that I'm retired." Well, fantastic. You know, we like retreads. I was a retread. I came back into it about 18 years ago, so I know what it's like to be a retread. And then Banshee 15 says, I'm in Carroll Stream, Illinois. And Marcel Legrand says, everyone, hello. And then Jeff Riley, hey, Jeff. He says, hello, Stunthanger from sunny Southern California. That's right. That's right, Jeffrey. And then Jack Snavely says, cool. Joe, being at the Nationals, someday I hope to also do that. Thumbs up. Then Marcel Legrand says, hi, John. I sent you a friend request on Facebook if you want another friend. And he has a smiley face. And then Joe McKenna says, thank you, Paul. Again, it is good to know things like this. Do you all do this regularly? Monday nights, yes, Monday nights and Friday nights. And then Sparky, if you if you subscribe to the Stunthanger channel on YouTube, whenever Sparky or myself is on, you'll get a notification. Just make sure you hit the notification bell and select all, and you'll know when we're on. But I come on every Monday and Friday at 6:45 about p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then I have a new friend here. Hey, Walter. Thanks for coming in again, Walter.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, my friend. I'm happy you came in.
Thank you.
I'm just still finishing up on the chats here. And then Banshee 15 says, hey, guys, ever get stuck on a build? Oh, absolutely. Usually when I get stuck, it's because I messed something up. And I'm trying to figure out my way out of it. But let me go on. And he says, don't know what to do next. I'm building a Brodak, I think that's a Buster, and got all major assemblies done, but I'm stuck on what to do next. So you got all the major assemblies done, and you're stuck on what to do next. So have you installed the engine and the fuel tank already? I like to do that while the plane's not in all one piece. I prefer to do that. I prefer to do a lot of things that I can before it becomes one whole unit. And that's one thing I like to do is get that engine in there and the fuel system and all that, and maybe even the landing gear. All that's easier when it's before it's completely glued into one piece. And then Banshee 15 says Buster. Yes, right, I suspected. And I had a Buster. I think mine was the Carl Goldberg Buster, I think, that I built, which I was a kid when I built it, and I didn't know that the problem with it was that it was tail heavy. I thought the plane didn't fly good. I would build planes, I'd fly them, had no idea about what trim was, and if it didn't fly good, I thought it wasn't a good flying plane. And if it flew good off the bench, I thought it was a good plane. But I didn't know that a bad plane can be turned into a good plane just by trimming it. So my Buster, unfortunately, was one of those planes that came out tail heavy, and I thought it wasn't a good flying plane mistakenly. Hey, Dennis, thanks for coming in. I see you got the munchies that we recommend, the popcorn. I got mine.
Absolutely.
I need to get my bags open. But by the way, I spoke to Linhart Smith today.
Really? Okay. I haven't talked to him in a long time. How's he doing?
He's doing well. He's retired. He's I don't know if he's working on any new plane. We have been talking about. I was talking to him about my Red Strega today, But yeah, I met him at Brodax.
Okay.
You know, I met you at Brodax briefly. I spent more time with your dad
Uh-huh.
because that's who I wanted to meet. I didn't know who you was, but I knew who Art was because the Art Adamson mufflers and big Art. I mean, it was just I didn't know who you was then.
Yeah, well, I was just part of the road crew. What can I say? So
You were standing in the shadow of a great man. That's what it was.
I don't know. He probably doesn't remember. I launched his airplane for him. Charles.
You
I
launched
launched,
at
yeah.
Brodax?
Yeah.
Really? Well, thank you very much. Was that the one
Yeah.
that
You were flying that where is it? Tudor, a gold Tudor.
Gold Tudor, yes.
Yeah. And I forget what happened, but you were, I don't know, I think your helper was towed off the circle. You needed some helpers.
Oh,
I
that's
just happened
right.
to be there.
That's right. Well, thank you very much, Dennis. Thank you very much. And I
Yeah.
probably that's probably the one I got second place from. It's probably because of you launching the plane. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, if your regular helper had been there, you'd have got a first. So what can I say?
But yeah, that was did I wonder if that was that the time when I couldn't get the thong on? I don't know if you remember. Maybe that was the
I'm
second.
getting mine on too.
I don't remember that, but
You see, the first flight with that plane, the owner is John Wright,
right.
tall, slender guy, and I'm a short, stocky guy. So my first flight, I never flown the plane prior to this. It's an official flight. I go out to the center of the circle, pick up the handle. I can't get my hand through the thong. And Will Davis comes out and goes, what's wrong? What's going on? And I was trying to, the engine's running, by the way. And I'm trying to explain to Will, I can't get my hand through the thong. So we're trying to stretch it out as far as I can. And I, get my hand finally into that loop of the thong, and I take off. And but that was really exciting. Trust me. So
Hey,
Yeah, I don't remember that. So it must have been a different flight or something.
that might have been. I got a lot of help. Actually, even Joe Gilbert lent me a prop. I think he lent me a Rev Up 10.6 prop, and I didn't know him very well, but he wanted me to know that he expected me to give that prop back to him.
Yeah, those are kind of hard to come by.
That's it. That was like gold.
Yes.
back then, yeah.
So, and he didn't know me very well either, so that prop could have came back in several pieces. But fortunately, I gave him the prop back in one piece.
Speaking of that, there's somebody with the eBay name H. Mitzi that's getting rid of a whole bunch of control line stuff from 50 years
Wow.
worth, and I have gotten some rev up props from him.
Really? Well, I'll have to check it out and see what.
Some of them have been drilled out for shaft extensions and that, but there's surely a way to push that up.
Yeah, oh, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a really.
Had a bunch of props and has some other stuff.
What was that name again for everybody to write down?
HMIZY or something like that. It's on eBay. I've gotten some stuff from him. I'm thinking about getting some more props from him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the best deal on props I ever saw in my life was at Brodax in 2016. I think I purchased 33 props.
Oh, wow.
At Brodax. Yeah. And of course, I couldn't take them on the plane, so I had to ship them I went to Staples and shipped them back home.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of them were $1, $2. I think the most I ever paid for a prop was $5, and that was for a Rev Up 10.6. But a lot of them were just $1 and $2, or just grab some, and I go, how much you want for all these? And I go, oh, just give me $10 or whatever. But yeah, I couldn't believe all the props there were. And there was even a lot of carbon fiber props by what?
Those aren't cheap.
Kruger, I think his name is Kruger. And anyways, but they were unfinished. They had flashing all over, but still they were like $20, $25. You just had to clean all the flashing off and weigh them and that kind of stuff and bounce them.
Hey, Charles, you talking about flying with Strega? Back when I first started flying with Mike and the guys here, two of them had Stregas, the ARFs, and both of them, only one of them did it while they was flying with me. The other one did it before, but the nose came completely off with the tank, engine, everything. So it was just flopping like a chicken with its head cut off going out there. Luckily, it didn't come over into the pits and everything and dance around and tear up some airplanes. But that was the first time I've ever seen one just come apart like that. And he just glided it on in, landed it, and one of the guys, Fred, he took it back and rebuilt it. And he said that's why he didn't like ours. Said he didn't like some 8-year-old Chinese girl building his airplane.
Hey, Eddie, was that a Strager for sure, or was that a Score? I've heard of people having that happen with a Top Flight Score, which is another big art.
It was Strega.
All right, because the Stragas were built like brick outhouses, if you'll pardon the expression.
Apparently, they got some bad ones. He said because Fred said when he went in there and got it, it was calling for, say, I don't know, a 1/4 inch something, and it was 3/16. The wood was smaller than what the plans were calling for. So I don't know if they did that on the ARFs to make them wider and than the plans. I don't know, but that's the only time I'd heard those, of it happening. But it was funny because both of them had it happen to them.
Well, I have a Strega, and I actually gusseted and I actually put biscuits on the wing saddle. I mentioned this last time already, but I put gussets and biscuits in the wing saddle, both front and back, left and right, both sides. So my Strega has over 520 flights on it.
Yeah.
Solid.
Well, like I said,
How
I've
much
never
it
heard of
weighs?
anybody else having that problem. So
Tell them how much it weighs, Charles.
It's down to 78 ounces and still losing weight. I'm
Good for
try to
you.
get some more weight out, but it was up to 80 at the Golden State Stunt Championship when I went for the pool test. They didn't have the equipment to do an adequate pool test. It was so heavy.
Oh my.
they have bathroom
No
scales.
thanks on my build trying to fly that thing. It dragged me all over.
Basically, I just pulled the plane as far as that whatever. I don't know if it's a fishing scale or whatever it is, but they didn't have the. I just had to pull to the extent that they had, and they said that's gonna have to be good enough. But the plane is it's solid. Mine is. The one thing I would say that I've experienced, which I've taken engines in and out of that plane more times than I can count, and that's that the engine barrel has compressed. I've actually had the blind nuts telescope through it, almost halfway through it, and now I'm using the brass tubing to go into which is recommended in the instructions, by the way. I didn't do that, but now I that wood is not.
Wondering if you need to put new motor mounts in it.
Some sort of foreign exotic wood. It's not regular hard maple that you would use.
With an 81, what do you got, like a 12-ounce tank?
Are you ready for this? I can do the pattern in less than 5 ounces.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's 4 3/4.
Wow.
What engine are you flying that's that big?
Stalker 81.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's like an oversized Super Tiger 60, basically, it sounds like.
Well, I don't know.
Much oversized.
It's a rear exhaust motor. It's a torquer. It doesn't really do a lot of doesn't do a lot of RPMs. If I want to get speed, I have to just increase the pitch. I have to repitch the prop. I mean, I can turn the needle in. It's not going to go much faster. And I mean, it'll turn a prop, but it doesn't go that fast. So if I want quicker lap times, I got to do it through pitch. So I've had props as much as I had a 13-inch 3-blade, 9.5-inch pitch prop running at. Okay, I think that's Carl. Let me.
Kathy Reed. Hello.
Hang on. Okay,
Hi, Bill.
that was Carl. Hey, Phil. Welcome.
Hey, how are you? How's everybody?
Doing well. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Hang on a second.
Where did everything go?
Hang on a second. Let me let Carl. Hey, Carl, you have such a terrible connection, my friend. I'm so sorry, but I'm going to have to keep you muted because when you come in live, it's just a bunch of just like
roars.
It just, yeah, it's just noise. So, but obviously, I mean, we can still see you. And what others have done is they either will just like not show their video and they can have the audio. Maybe if you do that, you can talk, but I'll keep you muted.
How's that? Is that better?
No.
Pretty echoey.
No.
So,
Very
it's
echoey.
most likely it's your internet connection. And I'm sorry, I'm probably going to keep you muted for the show. You can use the chat box or on the YouTube side maybe to communicate with us. But anyways,
Charles, go out and try it. Come back in again. It may just be that problem.
Maybe. I know he had poor internet last time as well, and it happened to me a year or so ago when I was not the host, but with not Sparky, but with Rusty. And I actually, for a while, I couldn't even come in. It was just terrible. It happens. So, anyways, hey Walter, what you want to say, Walter?
I got a technical question. I'm not sure if this is a forum for it. So Charles, you let me know if I'm crossing the line here. But back in the old days, we didn't have anything called Uniflow fuel tanks. It was just the standard 3 lines going in, opposite each other, and one going back to the. I'm not sure I know the difference between those, especially on a profile. What would be an advantage one over the other on a profile type of control line?
Well, John raised his hand first, and then Denny. Well, I'll let Jenny follow John.
Then he can clear up any mistakes they make.
Yeah.
And then
A Uniflow tank will run the same from the beginning of the tank until a Uniflow is uncovered. So you remember the old ones, you get getting leaner and leaner and leaner as you went through the flight, the plane would speed up.
Okay.
The Uniflow won't do that. It'll maintain the same speed from the beginning until that Uniflow uncovers.
And that's strictly where the
I muted you again, Carl. It's just not working, buddy. Go ahead, John.
I'll turn it over to Walter.
Well, so I bought a profile vector while I was at the Nats, and I needed to get something together real quick. And what I had before was Uniflow tanks that would go into the fuselage vectors. So I had to go buy another tank, and I'm not sure, for an old man like me, the old style wedge tank seemed like the illogical thing. But if you say the Uniflow is best, then I'll go back through, and I just need to get more practice in and get something built real quick. And that's why I'm asking that question.
Well,
another maybe option is Sparky has a video under his videos of doing a Nobler, and he did a clunk tank Uniflow, the plastic clunk tank.
I posted directions and pictures of converting an RC stunt tank to an RC clunk tank, into a Uniflow clunk tank. And I know Len has used them. What do you think, Len?
Works amazing.
It worked
Outstanding.
great.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Excellent.
Charles, if you let me share, I can share John's
Would you?
diagram of that.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me fix the permissions on the screen. Sorry about that. Let me fix that.
So it's a flow tank, basically, is what you're saying.
It just, there's just a way now. If you do it the way he's going to show you, John has figured out how to take a plastic clunk tank. The round ones are real easy. The square ones are just as easy, but they just work every time.
Okay.
It takes all the guesswork out of it.
Absolutely perfect. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, I know exactly where you're coming from on that too. I can see it.
It works excellent.
Okay. So the left side is basically the outside of the circles when you see that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You notice there's only one movable piece in there. You're not trying to move the Uniflow and the pickup. You do that, changes your run. Because you can adjust the apparent height of the tank by rotating that Uniflow. But if you got one on the end that's moving with, then it's changing the height of the tank all the time when the trunk is moving. And so you don't get a good solid run.
Exactly.
I ran it the other way for years and thought that was a way to do it. And then because I misunderstood what somebody had told me at the Nats, and I went to John's idea here, and it runs the same every time, no questions asked.
Perfect.
It just works.
Yep.
I like stuff that just works.
I soldered on a little lever, drilled a 1/8 hole in it, slid it on there, then I could reach down with my finger and push the lever because all three of my tubes came out straight.
Yeah, that's fine. That works.
Yeah.
Walter, just a quick question. Are you used to using a plastic tank or a metal tank?
Well, the last time I used a metal tank was at the Nats, and the last time before that, it was 50 years ago.
Okay.
So,
no, the only reason I asked is that you can set up either a metal tank or a plastic tank as a Uniflow. So I was just going to suggest you go with whatever is comfortable. But that diagram that John just put up there, you can take any tank you have sitting on an airplane or sitting on the shelf right now, and you could, in just a few minutes, you could have the thing plumbed up. Your key is that you want the air vent to stay in the fuel as long as it can. And of course, the other vent, the overflow vent, must be plugged up. So there's only one air vent into the tank, and then of course one pickup vent for the fuel. So, but anyhow, that's the goal. Try to keep that tube in the fuel for as long as you can. And that will maintain, and that will make sure that the run is steady beginning to end, like John was saying.
okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to ask a question almost on the same line, in that Spitfire I'm getting ready to start building came from the Aero Modeler plans, and it has a Palmer type tank, and it is a weird setup.
Palmer had a
Anybody
baffle.
know what that is? And it's
Palmer had
something
a
of a
baffle in
Uniflow, but it's a really strange tank.
Palmer had a baffle in there, kind of related to Ulrich's tank. With the modern idea of a Uniflow tank, you don't need that baffle. You can put a Uniflow tank in there, whether RC type plastic tank, which is what I use on everything now, or you can modify a regular metal wedge tank and set it up for Uniflow, and it'll do the job just perfect for you. So don't worry about having to get a Palmer type tank.
The other thing I noticed, it's an oddball size. It's like 2 by 2 square by 3 3/4 long. It's really a different tank. And I think the pickup tube's coming out at about 1 inch high.
Well, in those days, the Nobler tank was what, 1 7/8 inches wide in the fuel tank. So
This
it had
thing's a big square monster almost.
Mm-hmm. they've since, and over the years, have typically got it down to a 2-inch wide fuel tank area. So your tank is two inches wide, and they've got it set up so about every inch of length on that 2-inch wide one is about
Is an ounce.
Is an ounce. Yeah.
Exactly.
It makes it easy. It makes it easy with those dimensions to figure your size of your tank.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I guess this Palmer tank with the baffle probably is 4.5 or 5 ounces. It's 3.5 long. It's too high and too wide.
Yeah, so unless
It's a big tank.
unless you like making tanks, I'd stay away from it.
Thing is this tank was designed probably back in the late 40s, early 50s, and used in the early Thunderbirds and Smoothie and things like that. And you know, by the time the 60s came around, they were going to standard Vico style tanks, 2 inches wide, 1 inch high, and whatever length.
Exactly.
Yeah, this
I still
planned
good in
date,
there, Denny?
the planned date from Era Modeler was the Christmas of 1960. So I was 2 years old when that plan came out.
Charles, I got another question. May I ask?
Sure, go ahead.
Well, I've been wanting to experiment with just getting something slopped together as fast as I really need it. A question, and I was not too concerned about what something would look like. I started thinking I was going to try to get back into using the butyrate duct, but I'm wondering is when you put a plane together with silk spato, will that have a tendency to be heavier than a monocoated plane?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, a lot depends on
I don't
how
know.
good a painter you are.
Depends on who you are. Sparkies are light.
Well, if you're conservative with the dough, can you keep the weight down, or is it still a Monaco? It's going to be always lighter.
I'm guessing dope and tissue would be lighter overall if you keep the light amount of dope, because a lot of it evaporates off.
Yeah, but the solid still stays, and I ain't buying it. You know, it's just, you know, a pint a pound the world around. You got something that, you know, you got a pint of something resin, whatever. You know, it's just, it is what it is.
Unless you want to spend a lot of hours sanding like Sparky, you're going to struggle to keep it the
And
same weight as
I
iron on.
still don't believe it. Even if you spend all them hours, I've weighed shit, and my scales don't weigh like theirs. Then I must have a European scale that isn't weighing in ounces right. I guess 'cause my scale's made in China, so you know that could be the conversion rate. This could be way off.
Measures in troy ounces, huh?
Yeah, I have
think
no
that,
idea. But
if you're going to do a dope finish, it's pretty darn hard to do a dope finish from the bare wood up and under 8 ounces on even a 35 or 40 size stunt plane. Sparky does a lighter job than anybody else with dope, but if he did,
it's still twice,
going to be
3 times as heavy.
It's about 8 ounces to do one in dope, and the same finish in monocoat is typically 4.5 or 5 ounces. All right. So now a nice compromise, and a lot of people have done this, is they'll monocoat the wings, maybe the tail surfaces and stuff like that, great big areas and stuff. And also you get durability that you don't get with tissue paper. But then they'll dope the fuselage because it's easier to do the compound curves and stuff like that, and you can also seal it up real good around the engine and tank compartment and things like that. And that'll be somewhere in between on weight, but the fuselage usually doesn't pick up weight the way the wings will.
Exactly.
Number one, there's not as much area. Number two, it doesn't soak into the wood the way it soaks, you know, when you're trying to load up the tissue and stuff like that on the wing. That's where you can go crazy with. That's where the weight gain comes from. So
well, I stripped
I
stripped a score wing. And a score wing is what, 730 square inches? It's a huge wing on a score. So I weighed the wing because it got damaged in shipping. So I weighed the wing before I took the monocoat off of it, and I weighed it after. How much monocoat you think is on that wing? It weighed
Ounce and a half.
Ounce and a quarter.
Yeah,
There ain't no way in hell that you could even put the silk span on the wing and seal it with no paint for 1.25 ounces. There's no way. So that's the biggest part of the airplane. So if you had 1 ounce there and you did all the rest of the stuff in monocoat, you may have a 2-ounce finish on that airplane, on any airplane. So if you could get it at 8 ounces, which, you know, bringing the wood up to, they don't count bringing the wood up and sanding it and getting all that. There's still dope on that wood. They're talking finish once they spray the paint. Oh, I got a 6-ounce finish. But it starts from what you put on that wood in the beginning. And you add it up. And if you use a quart of damn dope, there's no way that you're going to get an 8-ounce finish. A quart of dope weighs 2 pounds. And yeah, the stuff evaporates out, but the solids stay. They don't evaporate away. And there's so much solids, and I'd say at least 25% solids, at least, in clear. Well, when you add in pigment stuff like that, that's even heavier.
Well, I'm starting to realize that. I bought some butyrate dope, and you know, a pint of the stuff is, you know, I mean, it's obvious it weighs about as much as the whole plane did when I had the thing finished at the NAF. So my plane came in at 38 ounces, and it was a windy day, so it could have fluctuated 4 or 5 ounces, who knows? But it was all monocoated with a Brodak 40 on it. So I thought that was pretty light.
Yeah,
it was.
That is pretty light. What airplane was it? How big airplane?
It was a Vector, Phil.
Wow.
It was almost ready to
hell of
cover.
a light back.
You did a heck of a job.
Oh,
You did a heck of a job.
No, I didn't do a heck of a job. It was, we'll give the monocoat its due. and wind, it could have been 48 ounces, you know, with everything buffeting around. So, but that's what the official weight was. It was 38 ounces. So
that's a good deal on that plane.
That's a good light airplane.
The only thing I could add to what they've said is if you're going to do one and you're going to do the wings in monocoat and you're going to do the fuselage in dope, be sure you do the engine area and back to behind where the tank is going to be in some kind of epoxy before, and then rough it up, put primer on it. I use auto primer to make dope stick to epoxy.
No, I've made a
mistake
mistake already then. I have covered the because it kept saying the butyrate dope was fuel proof. So
it is. If you're going to butyrate it, that's different.
Okay.
But this is a profile?
Tom Dixon's profile. I've got Tom Dixon's profile there at the Nats, and I'm trying to get it together as fast as I can so I can get some flying time in.
For sure.
Well, if you're going to bring it up butyrate, that's fine. My point was, don't try to just monocoat the motor area. And we've got guys around here that have done that, and it don't work.
Choice ever.
Yeah, that don't work.
Some people will say you can. I've never met anybody who could if they were flying the plane much.
Yeah, it's all right if you're going to fly it 20 flights a year and take it to a ringmaster. We had a guy that did a ringmaster, 18-ounce ringmaster. Flew great first year. Second year, it came to the contest and I weighted it was 20 ounces. Third year, it was 26 ounces. And the fourth year, the front end fell off.
Yeah. Yep, that's it. You got it, Phil.
Denny says Go electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going fuel, you've got a fuel proof. There's no way around it.
Nope,
Many
that's
have
right.
tried to skip this step and think, oh, I got it beat. I sealed it up good. Bull.
I got to tell you, Phil. I mean, Denny. I think the electric is ultimately the way to go, but I just cannot get into that yet. I know that eventually, if you really want to compete on world class, you probably will have to go electric at some point.
Better
No,
not
you
tell
can,
Dick.
you can, you can.
Now,
fly
there's
gas,
people
you can
disagree,
fly
I'm
gas,
sure.
You can fly
I
electric.
still
You can
disagree.
be,
Yeah.
competitive any contest in the world. It's a hobby. Do what
But
you
that's-
enjoy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do what you
Event-
enjoy
That's it.
and keep it right on up. All right.
Right. So I just can't get away from the smell and the sound. I'm
Yeah.
addicted to that.
Well, the
Well,
sound's
that's
what
like-
got me in it first place.
Me too.
When we got rid of Samantha's first car, it was my car and I gave it to her. And she told me what she missed about the car the most. She goes, I miss that car. And I said, why do you miss the car for? She goes, the smell.
Stunt fuel.
'Cause I carried so many airplanes in that car. You know.
That's awesome.
Oh wow.
But I was going to show you my Uniflow tank. They work perfect
Oh.
every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's perfect every time.
Well,
No, hold on.
Yeah.
Not every time.
Yeah, not every time. That's right.
Not every
not
time.
every time.
I mean, no, we've heard
Bobby
of some
Hunt
that
is
don't.
proof
yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Because Steve also uses a proper
So is
fuel
Joe Daly.
regulator for his fuel tank. All right. That's how you regulate it. All right.
Right. Yeah.
So
Not every time.
Ask Bob Hunt about his fuel tank.
Yeah.
Hey, Dennis, isn't that the electric Univent?
that's it. That's it. I make sure it's totally sealed. I don't leave any vents open on it.
That's right.
If you leave a vent open, that you can let out magic smoke and things like that. And
Yeah,
you don't
once the
want to do
smoke's
that.
out.
Yeah,
Once
you
the
don't want to
smoke
let
gets
the
out,
magic
it'll never
smoke
work
out.
again. That's the magic. The magic's gone.
Yeah, you can't get the stuff back in. So
Can you get a balloon to attach to it so it kind of makes a rumble sound? Like the engine.
Hey, there is a sound generator out there. I've seen one online. I have not heard one, but I have seen one online.
Well, the whole
sound to
problem
your
with a
airplane.
sound generator is it takes a speaker.
You may sound like a 12-cylinder Merlin.
Yep.
Denny, it doesn't. It's got a little cap thing that attaches to some part of the airplane and makes the airplane. It's like a speaker I've got. You stick it to a cardboard box that makes the whole box a speaker. Well, this thing, you stick it to a rib in the wing and it makes the whole wing resonate and it becomes the speaker. My question
I don't know.
is how long is that going to last?
I just had an image of my airplane turning into dust.
Yeah, me too. That's my question. How long is that wing going to last before that resonant frequency destroys the wing? I don't know.
Right,
but I
Charles
tick
is
everybody
jumping
off.
in
We
here.
got guys that are sold on mufflers. We got guys that are sold on tune pipes. We got guys that are sold on force trucks. We got guys that are sold on electric. I fly all four. I tick everybody off.
That's awesome. Good for you.
I just
Phil.
have one comment I wanted to say. I know he left the suction tank conversation, but I wanted to say something regarding it. It's not like we should poo-poo the suction tank. Uniflow tank is pretty much what I use all the time, almost exclusively. But there is a place for a suction tank. If someone has a plane that the engine is not powerful enough, because as a pattern, as you progress into the stunt pattern, things get more and more difficult. So the suction tank does have a benefit that the motor does speed up, and it will help you do those remaining maneuvers toward the end of the pattern. So it's not like I want us to tell someone out in the audience that suction tanks are no good. They are good. It can be used as a trim feature. I mean, when I have a tank, I try all tanks. I try muffler pressure. I try not muffler pressure. I try Uniflow. I try no Uniflow. I try everything to see what gives me the best results. And a suction tank could be a remedy for someone who has a inept engine.
A weak motor for sure.
Well, except
Just lean it out before you launch it.
you might
No,
want
then
to
it goes. No, then it goes over the top and quits.
It won't on a Uniflow. It'll run the same all the way through. I heard that before, and it's like, it leans itself out during the flight.
Windy day, and your motor is speeding up as you get further and further into the more difficult parts of the pattern. And it's a windy day. And you
but just speed it up at the beginning.
It speeds up as it goes along, a suction tank does.
Yeah, I know, but why not just speed it up at the beginning and leave it there all the way through?
You can do that, but it'll still get,
need all that
it'll
power.
still get faster and faster. Even if you start out fast, it'll get out so fast, it'll stall because it's not being throttled right.
Not with a Uniflow tank.
Yeah, Steve's saying you put a Uniflow tank in and then do it that way, not.
Yeah, and then just turn up the RPM where you want it.
We're talking about the suction tank. That's what Charles was talking about.
Right. You know, the best thing to do with a suction tank is to give it away at these meets for other people.
No, don't do
Where they
that.
they think they've won something.
I got two. I've just ordered. I'll give you one.
Yeah, yeah. You picked some up, didn't you, Water? Well,
Yeah, I did.
Now, I have heard, and I don't understand it myself, but I have heard that a lot of people who run 4-strokes have circled back and they run straight suction tanks on 4-strokes because they apparently don't run as well in stunt with a Uniflow, and I can't figure out how that could possibly be.
That's
Why?
wild.
I'm not stunting a 4-stroke, so I will, certainly respect the powers on that. And
That's cool.
yeah. Phil, do you run a Uniflow on your 4-strokes or?
Mine has you're gonna love this. It's a Uniflow, but it's a clunk tank. It's a metal clunk tank. If you look at Al Raby's Bearcat plans, that's the tank I've got. I did everything just the way Al said do it.
You're right. You can upset everybody, can't you? A metal clunk tank.
Yeah, that's
Yes, sir.
That's a new one. I never heard of that before.
No,
That's the way it's
Hey,
on the plans.
I've made metal.
What can I say, Phil? I fly electric, and that tank pisses me off. So.
Here's
I think
some
Al's
history
good
for
at
you.
Ticking people off.
Guys, let Howard say something, you guys. Go ahead, Howard.
The history is that originally those tanks were made of metal and they were called clank tanks. And someone got the idea to make them from polyethylene, and the joke was clunk tank rather than clank tank. So you're going back to the original concept of the clank tank.
Okay.
Wow.
I always wondered if he just didn't.
Hey, Howard, do you have a brother?
No.
A sister?
Yeah.
Is her name Adrenaline?
No, I was gonna post something about that, saying that, yeah, that's my cousin, and he used to fly a lot of jet in Dallas and flew a combat too. Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that on there, Adrenaline Rush. I'm like, man, I wonder if that's Howard's brother or sister.
I noticed that. Yeah.
That's funny. And you guys, I am so far behind in the chat box, so please bear with me. If we don't bring them back into the conversation, it's going to be two different shows. They're so far apart. Let me see. Let me try to catch up, and bear with me. I got a lot to catch up on. Let me see here. I mean, I got to scroll up. I'm so far behind.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so let's see here. The last thing I said, oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, you guys in the chat box. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm scrolling and scrolling. That's how far behind I am. Okay, let's see. Where's the last thing I said? Oh my goodness.
Last week.
Why'd you say, oh my goodness, for?
Guys, I'm so far behind.
Take a look. It's long.
Okay, let's see. Oh my. I keep scrolling up and up and okay. The Buster. Okay, that's the last thing we talked about. Yes, it's the Buster. And then Banshee 15 says the engine and tank figured out. And then Jeff Riley says, hey, Banshee, just do your best to keep it square and true. You'll have a lot of fun with that plane. And then Jack Snavely says, build a stooge from plans. If possible, I built mine off of Keelcraft Phantom plans and used it from 049 up to a Fox 35 for many years. And Jeff Riley says, I made my stooge from scrap steel from a job site. And then Gary Sinclair, hi, Gary. He says, hi again to chat friends. And then Jeff Riley says, hey, Gary. And then Banshee 15 says, yeah, Jeffrey, I need to just progress, and don't worry about it. And Mike Regale says, I'm going to need a stooge before long, and I don't know much about them. And Jeff Riley says, Banshee, what are you running for power? And Banshee 15 says an OS 25 LA. And Mac Regale says, Charles, what kind of engine did your Strega come with? Well, it didn't come with any engine, but I installed a Stalker 81. It's a Ukrainian motor rear exhaust. And then that's to answer your question, Mike Regale. And then Jeff Riley says, nice choice. My first one in about 1976 or so had a McCoy 19 on it. And then Banshee 15 says, this Brodak Buster doesn't remind me of my Carl Goldberg Buster. I had a Super Tiger 35 on that. And then said, I had great fun with the first one, built it with no abandon. And then Jeff Riley says, the Goldberg was a little bit different, but mostly in construction. Jack Snavely says, my stooge has a pull pin that releases a trip pin that is holding the plane from the cross pin, no silly straps or any other non-engineered snags. Good plan for a single light stooge. Banshee 15 goes on to say, the Goldberg built fast from what I remember. And then Banshee 15 says, now I'm too critical of the build. And then Jeff Riley says, yeah, a light stooge, the Brodak is good, kit, good too. And then Mike Regale says, I had a Sig Buster, a smaller profile model, as well as I remember it had a 10 on it. I don't remember ever flying it. And then Jeff Riley says they were a racer. They kind of flew like a rock. And then Banshee 15 says the Sig Buster is really different, more of a flat wing racer. And then Jeff Riley says, have you built a Sig Banshee yet? And then Banshee 15 says, one of my problems is that slowing me down is in my current desire to build a higher standard. And then Banshee 15 says, Jeffrey, I did build a Sig Banshee, hence the name. And then Banshee 15 says, had a modified Fox 35 on it. And then Jeff Riley, I've learned 3 standards: trainer, sport, and stunt. I don't spend much time on the trainers. And then Banshee 15 says, hear ya, but I think a good Sig Skyray would make a nice plane, good for a beginner, maybe intermediate. Hey, Mike.
And
Lonky,
how? It does.
Mike Lonky goes, tell Walter he needs the RSM 4.5 ounce sub-nose Uniflow tank for his Dixon profile vector. Did you hear that, Walter? That was for you.
Yeah, you have to repeat that again because.
Okay. So
RSM.
Mike Lonky, the guy that helped you there at the Nats, remember Mike?
Yeah, do Mike. Yeah, sure.
So Mike says for me to tell you that what you need is a RSM 4.5 ounce snub nose Uniflow tank for the Dixon profile vector, which you bought.
I can get that at, okay. RSM. Snub nose. Thank you, Mike.
It's a thick tank. It's really thick, so it's not very long compared to a conventional tank.
Okay.
It's a good tank, by the way. And then Jeff Riley says the Sig Banshee is a great practice plane. And then Banshee 15 says, yep. And then Jeff Riley says, hi, Mike. And Banshee 15 said, I had a Midwest Magician once. That's another good plane. Didn't even have flaps. Yeah, the Magician is a good plane. I had one myself. Mine had flaps. And then my friend Joe Mata says, Strega rocks. That's right, Joe. It rocks. It's going to be rocking and rolling this year. Jeff Riley says, I had one too in the 80s with an OS 35S. It was fun to fly. Then Banshee 15 says it was remarkably stunnable. And then Banshee 15 says, what is really needs is 2 spars, upper and lower. And then Jeff Riley says, and tough. My dad used to join me in the circle with his shoestring. Wow. And then Banshee 15 says, well, that's cool. Fun to fly with another. Jeff Riley says it was a blast, kind of spooky at the first time. Then Banshee 15 says, if you can trust who you're flying with, it's fun. I've done it. Minnesota Mike, he says, hi, Jeff. Then Jeff Riley says, hi, Mike, how are you? And the Minnesota Mike says, hot. Minnesota Mike says, it's 113 degrees here. And then Jeff Riley says, it's hot here too, about 81, and question mark, maybe. And then Minnesota Mike says, I would need a coat, LOL. And then Minnesota Mike says, been over 110 degrees for 4 weeks. And then Jeff Riley says, yikes. And then Jeff Riley says, did the fires get close? And then Banshee 15 says, only 69 degrees here in Carroll Stream, Illinois. And Minnesota Mike says, one is close now. Yes, 4,000 acres. And then Minnesota Mike says, nice. And then Jeff Riley says, whoops. Okay. Minnesota Mike, that's what he says, it's me. Then Minnesota Mike, he says, nice. And then Jeff Riley says, and the water situation isn't that great now either. And, you know, we're having a conserve water about it. And Minnesota Mike says, no, Jeff. And then Minnesota Mike says, I heard our toilet water is going for drinking.
Oh my God.
I'm just reading, it's not me. Don't blame the messenger. And Jeff Riley says, yeah, but that's after you guys get it. And then Minnesota Mike says, we are making it, LOL. And Banshee 15, see, we missed a lot of stuff. Then Banshee 15,
yes.
To the Windows group, I just love starting a glow engine. I hear you. And Riley says, it'll be a struggle, but we'll manage. And then Jeff Riley says, I love the glow as long as there's some castor oil in the fuel. That's true. And then I like the grass just being cut too. Just my own input. Then Minnesota Mike says, yep, Jeff. And then Minnesota Mike says, and diesel. Oh no, that's John Miller's camp there. And then Banshee 15 says, yeah, me too. I don't know what that is. And then I think he likes to smell like, what's he saying? Oh, I guess it reminds him of his grandfather's machine shop. And then Jeff Riley says, some of the synthetics don't smell that great. And then Banshee 15 says, I do always and add castor 4 ounces to a gallon. And then Minnesota Mike says, right, Jeff, synthetic transmission fluid is bad. And then Jeff Riley says, oh yeah, the sweet smell of cutting oil smells like money to me. And then Jeff Riley says, isn't most of that stuff just Dextron too anyways? And then Minnesota Mike says, yes. I'm almost done, you guys. I'm almost done. And then Jeff Riley says, works great in a Turbo 400. And then Banshee 15 says, we're having our own conversation. See, these guys were having their own conversation because I wasn't keeping up. And then Dennis Adamison, how'd you get in there, Dennis? He says, if you are looking for a stooge, Brodak has a pull pin style stooge, stock number BH-848. I use one and it works great. I use wire pins to stake it to the ground. And I am all caught up.
You know, I was gonna say, you can build a stooge from plans, or you can buy one from Brodak, or you can be like Naomi and marry one.
Oh, I got to tell her that tomorrow. She's going to have a riot on that. She'll think that's amazing. It's funny, when I first met Naomi, one of the guys in our club took a picture of Naomi launching my plane, and she said, Len's got the best launching device I think I've ever seen.
Very, very good. Oh, Lynn, you know what? I discovered, Lynn, that when I was at Kodax, which was only one time, that was in 2016, you was there. I saw
I
your
was there. I was there, but I didn't know you then.
I know, it's a shame we didn't
It's a
cross
bloody
paths.
shame. What a mess.
What
I
a
saw
what a
pictures
shame.
of you
Because
Lynn, at Rodex. You had your arm out and you're getting ready to fly and you look like you're going to kill somebody.
Who was this?
I think it was 2016 Brodex.
Who, me or him?
You were. They're taking it from the pit area, and you were up there on the line. You had two guys behind you, and you had your hand out, and you were so intently staring at that airplane, it looked like you were going to kill somebody.
I stare my airplanes down heavily. When I'm serious, I stare that plane down like it's just garbage.
I did that at Brodax. Anyways, I was going through some pictures and I saw that your plane was there, and I think you took second in one of the expert contests, right?
I don't remember. I'd have to go down and look.
Yeah.
2016?
Yeah.
I'll go
Yeah.
down
They
and
had the
check.
swampers on.
Hang on. Yeah. Oh yeah. The what do you call them? The wellies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
the
call them
wellies.
swampers.
Yeah, we call them wellies. The Wellington boots. Yeah. Hang on a sec.
All right.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to get out of here. I'll see you on Friday.
All right.
Take
Take care of yourself, Eddie.
Thanks for coming
Good
in,
night,
Eddie.
Eddie. Good to see you.
Yeah, that's too bad in 2016. You know, that was before Charles talked to white people and stuff.
Oh,
Oh, that was almost
oh,
too brutal.
Well, actually, I grew up in white neighborhood, so that's pretty much, you know.
That was bad.
I talked to Charles a little bit there that year, but that's the bad thing about Brodak. You see people say hi, but usually so busy. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
You know,
Let me ask a question. Have you guys heard anything about there may be another Brodak?
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be.
They are trying.
Here.
They are trying to bring it back next year. It'll be, from what I understand, at the airport.
Yeah.
And it will be a smaller event, probably 2 to 3 days. But they are trying to bring Brodak back.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'm just trying to give everybody something to look forward to. I've talked to him several times, and Will Davis and I forgot his name. I'm sorry, can't remember. Mark. They're trying to bring it back for next year. So we got something to look forward to for next year.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know if I'll make it, but I really loved that experience. That was one of the funnest experiences I have ever had in my life. That was so much fun. I met Joe Gilbert there. That's where I met Joe. That's where I met Sparky.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone wants, how did I end up here? I can tell you that, you know, I used to watch Sparky, and then I met him at Brodax, you know, and Sparky and I, you know, we hit it off. You know, another guy that I hit it off with is a guy named Leonard. I can't remember Leonard's last name, but it's not Leonard Smith. It's another Lynn. And forgive me, Lynn, if I can't remember your last name, but him and I hit it off big time. We had so much fun. He had me in stitches the whole time. But that was such a fun contest, because when I would leave the canopy and want to walk to the outhouses, it would literally take me almost a half an hour on my way, because people would stop me and go, "Yeah, I've never seen you before. Where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from California." And then they go, "Did you drive all the way out here from California?" I mean, every conversation was like that, all the way to the restroom. And then on the way back from the restroom back to where I was going back to sit down, I'd meet more people, or I'd see, like, you know, I met Larry Scarinzi. I met who's the guy that built the Patriot? The Jeff Phelps, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Phelps.
Jerry Phelps.
I met Jerry Phelps. And I met Jack Sheets before he passed away, and his wife Shirley. I mean, so and I met Art Adamison. I mean, I met so many people at Brodax. It was just so much fun, and but it was a blast. And it's unfortunate, and Lynn's not here right now, but Lynn will be here shortly. It's really unfortunate I didn't meet Lynn there. I'm sure we would have cut up as well.
Oh,
Well, the
Lord.
biggest trouble with trying to meet Len at Brodak is between Len and the rest of the Canadian contingent. They're always someplace. They're running from one event to the other, this circle, that circle, over in Carrier and Combat.
They went that way.
The
That's true.
intermediate and yeah, it was, if you talk to them, it was probably after hours or at a restaurant or something like that, because on the field, they're just a blur. So, and of course, they always had the Mountie that they used to put on their Junkyard Wars airplane and everything like that. I mean, so
I've always said if you can't have fun at Brodak, you can't have fun at the contest. It's more fun than the nationals. If I have to pick between, I can only go to one contest, the nationals or Brodak, I'm going to Brodak. Because at nationals, everybody's so darn serious. But Brodak is just, everybody's having fun.
Philip, where do you live?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
I mean,
I'm up in, go ahead. I'm up just south of Winston-Salem.
The thing is, it's so busy at Brodak. You're launching for somebody, you're flying this and that. I mean, I'd see Dennis there and we talked for like 10 minutes. And hell, when we went to like a small contest in Detroit or whatever, we talked way more in one day than we did it for a whole week at Brodak. I mean, he's busy, I'm busy, everybody's busy. And, like you said, if it isn't for lunch or supper or something like that, or like the Junkyard Wars where you got the meal and then you can talk to people. But then there's like 600 people there and you really don't talk to anybody very long.
Running all day.
Yeah.
Go for it, Big John.
What'd you find? Okay, John. So go ahead, John.
One of the things that blew me away at Brodak was here I come up there and I got my beard and everything, but here's Dennis with his dad. And I knew his dad somewhat well, but not as well as a lot of people, but we hadn't seen each other for 10 or 12 years. And when he last saw me, I didn't have a beard. You remember this, Dennis? And I said, "Hey, hi, Big Art." And he said, "Who's that?" And I said, "Who do you think it is?" And he thought for a minute. He says, "John Miller." I don't know how he pulled that out. I do not know how he got it.
It might have been your voice. I mean,
listen, there were 10 or 12 years since the last time he seen me, at least, if not more.
Wow.
All right, I'll let the secret out. He had about a half a dozen people tell him that year. And every time he said, "John Miller." So
is that how it worked?
He finally got it right. Yeah.
John has changed in the last 15 years.
Lynn, you going to take off? Okay. Well, hang on, you guys. Let me catch up on the chat box before I get behind like the last one. Okay, Terry Forbes. He says, "Great job, Charles, Terry, and the pilots." Thank you, Terry, for coming in. And then Banshee 15 says, "All caught up!" Exclamation mark. Thank you. And then Banshee 15 says, "Okay, guys, nice chatting. Sleep time for me. Have a good one." And then Jeff Riley says, "Good night." Hey, Mark Lumen's in the house. Mark Lumen says, "Hey, guys, sorry, been a while, but I haven't logged in. Just busy with the family. I understand you got to catch up. Now you got both legs and knees working. You'd be busier than all get out." And then Jeff Riley says, "No worries, Mark. How have you been?" And I'm sure Mark's going to tell him doing well. Oh, speaking of Brodaks, one thing that blew me away was, I know this is not the best topic, but you guys remember that one porta potty? I mean, it had a counter with the faucet and they had piped in music, air conditioning. You remember that?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, they did that for the women.
Yeah, that was well, it was, the others were all crowded. It was available, so I went inside there. But I haven't seen something like that in my life. Walter, it was amazing. Well, I mean, talking about a counter with the faucet, the mirrors, and air conditioning.
Piped in air conditioning.
Air conditioning and music. And a regular conventional toilet. I've never seen anything like that in the porta potty. I mean, I know.
Everybody could use it, but it was because of women complaining about, having to use the porta potties. And Samantha
I felt
hated
I was
them,
too
stuff
dirty.
like
I always
that.
felt I was too dirty to go into it. You know, like I had to felt like I had to take a bath before I went in to use the porta potty. I mean, it was so. Yeah.
Hey,
My
Lynn, you
dog's
back?
telling me he's got to go out. I'll be back.
All righty.
Hey, Charles, no wonder I didn't see you when I was at Brodax. I must have been all over that bloody field all week long.
What did I tell you? What did I
must have
tell you?
been. I don't know how. I mean,
Nobody.
I don't know how you missed me because it was just
I don't.
John Souter, Sleepy Gomez. I mean, Gomez Dawson, Sleepy Dawson.
Yeah, Sleepy Dawson. Yeah.
Dawson, John Souter, Leinhart Smith,
right,
and me. I think only 4 black guys. I had like 138 people or so.
Yeah, but you guys all look alike. We couldn't tell the difference.
Boo hiss. Boo hiss.
Than what it was.
Well, I'll just say that Leinhart Smith.
You out of
is
here,
about
Walter?
Leinhart Smith's about 6'7".
Don't take
so,
offense,
and
Water.
Charles is
I'm
not,
really
all
good
right?
friends with Charles. We talk all the time.
Yeah,
so
I'm
he
not,
knows me.
Yeah, trust me. I'm not taking any offense to this.
No, so if that's the problem, it's me and Charles go back a while and stuff.
No,
I
I'm
keep
not.
him
I'm thinking.
We're
I
just-
think it's funny, and I'm glad you can, kid.
Yeah.
I want to
But
thank
wow.
throw a thanks
Walter,
out
thanks
to
for coming in,
National
Walter.
for the advice. And
Oh,
good
you're
night, you
welcome.
guys. I
Good
gotta
night,
be at work
Walter.
tomorrow. Take care.
Walter,
Yeah.
he's got to.
Yes, sir.
One thing to remember. You
Yes,
come
sir.
in here for a little fun and fellowship, and what do you get? Made fun of, talked down to. But occasionally you get a straight answer.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Take care. We'll see you Friday, I hope.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Nice to meet you, Walter.
Pleased to meet you, my friend.
Yeah. If I didn't like
What'd you find out?
Charles so much, I wouldn't tease him.
All right, so Charles, here it is. 2016, I got 3rd in Profile Expert, 3rd in Nostalgia 30 Expert, 3rd in Clown Expert, Sportsman Clown, 1st in Sportsman Foxburg Expert, 2nd in the 100-mile sport race. Naomi got 2nd in Clown Speed, 3rd in Nostalgia 30 Beginner, and she won the Sportsman Award in Combat.
Fantastic. I knew you got 2nd in one of the events.
No, yeah, I got 2nd in something, 2nd in the 100-mile sport race.
Very
now
good.
Now you know why you didn't get a chance to talk to Len at Brodax.
I
He
understand.
never stops.
And by the way, Len was also pitting for Goosegog, Keith Morgan, right?
Yeah.
You guys were working
Exactly.
together. And
Yeah.
who else used to come down from Canada with you guys? You and Keith. I know.
Brad LaPointe used to come, but he
Of
didn't.
course, yeah.
Yes, Brad LaPointe, but he hasn't been for a number of years toward the end.
Now, wasn't it always you and Keith who see how many damn events you guys could fly in?
Well, I don't know. Keith and I both flew in a lot of events. No
Oh
doubt.
my God. Yeah.
I used to load him up pretty good, I'll tell you. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know who else I met? I met a guy named Bryce from Australia. I mean, that's
Now that's interesting because Bryce was Naomi's pitman in Combat. They flew together all week. Or like, I didn't spend much time at the Combat Circle, but Naomi was over there a lot.
yeah. I met a lot of people at Brodax. It's a shame you and I didn't meet, Lynn.
Yeah, we would have had a blast.
We would have had a blast.
Well, you know, Brodak always used to have at least acknowledge like whoever came the farthest and stuff like that.
Yeah.
California, I'm afraid that's not much of a trip. You know, we had people from South Africa, and then John Paris brought his brother-in-law, I think it was, from South Korea. You know, that's what it took to be farthest, most distance traveled to Brodak. All right.
Yeah.
Long way.
California.
Yeah, California is a skip and a jump.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I met John Paris there. I met Grace, and I met Grace's son at John Paris's grandson at Brodax. Met lots of people. And
Hey, Charles?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, you and I didn't meet because you and I aren't household names in stunt. That's the deal.
No. But I was, you know what? I was so familiar with. I didn't know anybody, so I didn't know. I mean, I knew the Art Adamson, and of course my friend John Wright, who I was roommates with. Yeah, I didn't know a lot of people either. So I treat everybody, you know, like.
Well, you see, even Steve, he's a household name in stunt because of Samantha. You see, which is
He's the guy next to.
see, like he's a household name.
Yeah, he's the
Well,
guy
actually,
in the photograph on the cover.
Dennis is a household name for sure.
Yeah, well, I was thinking one of the things that used to be fun about Brodak too was that the way the tent city built up.
Yeah,
and it was like this part.
Yeah,
was the Canadians. Here's the here's the Philly Flyers.
Yeah,
and right then here's the guys from Oklahoma or Texas. And
we all
over
had
there we got the Carolinians.
Yeah.
You know, they always used to take a picture of the Carolina contingent, right? Which
The
basically
Carolina
meant
gang,
if you were on the field, they'd say, hey, grab an airplane, show up by the big tree, right? They'd have 50 people there in the Carolina contingent, you know, all holding an airplane up and everything like that. And,
well, you got to remember when Carolina gang shows up, it's North Carolina and South Carolina. There are a bunch of us.
There are a bunch of Carolinians there on their own right, but I was an honorary. I don't know if that's the right word. I was an honorary Carolinian there. At least a couple of pictures were.
That's fine.
And,
Wow,
that's fine.
That's awesome.
We'll drag
That's
all of
it.
you in. The more, the merrier.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
I like
I couldn't believe that Samantha would sneak into all them pictures of me all the time.
She was.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
Steve, you're a mess.
You are a mess,
You don't
Steve.
understand that comment. See, Samantha is the reason why Steve is in the picture.
Yeah.
No, that's a lie, Charles.
Samantha's the one that went to the World Championship. Samantha's the one that wins the contest. He's launching it for Samantha. So that is.
Oh my God.
Oh Lord.
That is so funny, Steve. That's cracking. Guys, let me catch up again on the chat box. Pardon me for a second here. Okay. Mike Miguel says, I was on a construction job one time and a young guy asked, why is there a sink in the porta potty? Yeah. That's I mean, that is the one that I went into. You had to see that, Mike Miguel, is unbelievable. And it was mirrors, had a real nice full-length mirrors. Unbelievable. Anyways, Jeff Riley, he says, if you keep a broom and dustpan in the car, you'll never need it. Okay. And then Rick Wallace says, test. Don't know what that means. And then Jeff Riley says, Mike, did you tell them not to eat the big white mint?
Stay away from the urinal peppermints.
Oh Lord. Ooh.
Oh boy.
That's just naughty.
All right.
That may not have gone over the edge, but it sure came close.
So over the top funny. Anyways, Minnesota Mike is laughing, of course. And then Rick Wallace goes, oops, first combat contest, I drew Howard Rush. Went to Navy. And then I'm not sure what that meant. But anyways, and then Jeff Riley says, hi, Rick. My second combat match was with Chuck Rudner. Ooh, boy. I felt the anxiety. Yeah, Chuck Rudner is a very good flyer. So is Howard Rush. And then Rick Wallace says, try again. Gave up combat and flew Navy carrier with much better results. And then Jeff Riley says, I went back to stunt. It ended up cheaper. All right, I'm all caught up again.
All right.
I think my favorite Brodak memory though is anytime you wanted to. It's funny how you get to one end of the field, he's at the other end of the field, and then you think of a question you just got to ask him. But anytime you wanted to ask Big Art a question, all you had to do was stand up, look around, and see where there's a crowd of people standing around one guy. Big Art was in the center of the crowd.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm going to tell a Big Art and Phil Bailey story. All right.
All right.
Uh-oh.
All right. I was
I'm in
flying. My dad had not seen that great big flying wing. He had built it back in the 40s, him and his brother. built this great big wing and everything like that.
That thing's huge.
We got it, 78-inch span. And I'm flying, I've been working on it, trimming it out, and it's flying pretty good. So I want them to watch what's going on, right? And so I'm flying, I'm looking over, watching my dad, Phil standing with him and stuff. And I look, a little while later, I look over, my dad's sitting on the phone, with Phil. Found out while he's supposed to be watching me fly, to the replica of it, he's talking to Phil's wife on the phone. All right. What the heck?
What can I say? We met your mother and father at VSC. Vicky was with me, and we just fell in love with them. They were just such sweet people.
Well, I can understand them actually talking to your wife and not talking to you. All right. And you know exactly where I'm coming from, right?
Yep.
I don't know what it was. The ladies were just all over him and everything like that.
He's Italian.
All I can say is that talent skipped a generation, and I'll let it go from that. All right. So,
I'm telling you what, if you'd been there that year and seen him fly that big wing, that thing was huge, and it just, you watch it fly and you think there's no way an airplane that big can fly that well. Well, obviously they found a way to do it.
It absolutely kicked butt, Dennis. That was awesome.
It sure did.
That was a big plane. I did remember that plane. I think I have pictures of you holding that big wing too, Dennis.
Yeah. Well, it does fly very well. Flies like a big old trainer too.
That's awesome.
Wow.
It
was interesting. I'm building a little small version, the original. It's a little small thing. But
I found a record of one. There was a friend of Pappy DeBolt built one that was 1.5 times the size. So imagine the sport wing blown up to 54 inches. So it's around 450 squares or something like that. That would be a nice size. That's something you could really tuck in the car and, take it along the second airplane, taking it to an old time contest and stuff like that. But
I think on top of that, 54 inches, you probably get away with a 40.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's a 35 or 40. I guess
That's
the original
cool.
one flew at the I think it was 50, might have been 52 Nats. It went down in Dallas. We'd have to find out what year that was. You got the name of the pilot, and and it showed. I got 3 different documents, 3 different sources of documentation. When Paul said he showed the pilot who flew and what he flew, then his records from the Nats. Got a record from a friend of the pilot, and there was a third record from somebody who actually had one of the elevators from the airplane. All right, and then I talked to a gentleman named, I can't think of his name, Fran Piscataris or something like that. This is a guy who worked for and worked with Harold DeBolt at the D'Amico company, and he knew all of the flyers there, and he personally knew the airplane, even gave me the color scheme for it. So
cool.
I think I talked to him once. I was trying to find out. Tommy had flown a stunt wagon at Nats, and someone protested him because the landing gear wasn't where it was supposed to be. And I got in touch with him, and he said that Pappy DeBolt was still alive at the time, and he told me, he said, a stunt wagon, an All-American senior, and he named another one that I can't think of it right now. But anyway, he said the stunt wagons, both of them, and the All-American senior, he said they have pictures back in the 50s, black and white pictures of that airplane, those airplanes with the landing gear everywhere from right dang near under the spinner ring to all the way back under the wing. He says it was just published. It was the guy who drew the plans had never seen the actual airplane. He said we sent him a set of plans, and he just drew the plans drew the landing gear on the plans. But the original stunt wagon had a fall away gear. It didn't even have a fixed landing gear.
Right.
So he said, put the darn wheels wherever you want to. It's legal anywhere. If anybody wants to argue with somebody, tell them to call me. And this is Pappy DeBolt.
Mm-hmm.
How you going to argue with Pappy DeBolt? And he said, All-American Senior is the same thing. Now, I've learned to land mine with the gear where it shows on the plans, but according to Pappy, you didn't have to put them there.
Yeah,
But
I fly
anyway,
mine
he
like
was-
that too, and I can eat. I've been able to manage both main gear landings and 3-point landings, so that covers all the landings I want to do. So
Yeah, the 3-points are a lot of fun with the 60 powered. It's a fun airplane. I love the 30 powered though. It's just a fun airplane, but
yeah,
it's
I'd
a
like to do
bugger
that
to land in
someday.
the grass. It's a bad one to land in the grass,
Mhm.
but it's a fun airplane to fly. Whew.
John,
Anyway,
I was out walking my dog. What airplane are you talking about there, Denny? The one outside of
Wing.
Texas.
Oh, the big flying wing.
Well, the one you were talking about that was flown in the 1915.
Oh, there was a DeBolt sport wing that was blown up 1.5 times.
Oh,
So instead
like
of
that
a
big creek.
yeah, the little sport wing is like 36 inches and 230 squares or something like that. And you blow it up 1.5 times, it ends up 54 inches, and I think it was around 450 squares or so. It's just a perfect sport plane kind of size, you know. Because the little one is actually borderline too little to really make it fly well. And but you get it up in the 400s and stuff. That's easy. So
How big was the one you had at Brodex?
78.
Oh, I love the way that thing flew.
Yeah, yeah.
So John, is it under 100 degrees there at your house now?
No,
Oh
it's
my.
it's about 101 right now, but it's going down.
Oh my.
good grief.
Good gosh.
I don't know how
John,
the hell you guys are standing. I was in Vegas and the air conditioning went out on the semi I was driving. We had to stop and get it fixed. But it was 107. And we walked to get something to eat. And I thought I was going to die just getting to the restaurant. And we're like, shit, we got to walk back, you know, to get the truck. And it's like, I don't know, when it's 115, 120, how in the hell you guys stand it?
I was driving down to California for a contest some years back, right around the turn of the century. And I got in, wasn't St. George, it's Mesquite, Nevada. Got in Mesquite, Nevada on I-15, and it was so freaking hot. It was 115 degrees, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I pulled in to try to get some rest. I had been driving a lot, and I was in my van, so I rolled a couple of windows down and moved a few things in the back and crawled back there to go to sleep. And I tell you what, I sat there for an hour and a half, 2 hours trying to get to sleep, and I finally said, "To hell with this." Went back up, started up, and continued my drive on into California. It was, I've seen it in California growing up, where it was 112 degrees in the shade in the suburbs of Los Angeles, just for fun, cracked an egg and cooked it on the sidewalk.
Wow.
Well, when the air conditioning went out, luckily we had a yellow truck. It was a light yellow color. And, you know, it wasn't black or anything, but the interior was brown. And we thought it was going to melt the dash, the sun coming through the windshield and hitting in there. I mean, it was, I don't understand how you guys' interiors in the cars and stuff take it.
Well, it's a dry heat, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, I was thinking though, if you monocoated there, you could just take and seal all the edges and set it outside, and it would tighten up like a drum and be done. And hell, that would be really easy.
You know, my relative humidity today is 13%. How'd
Wow,
you like to have that to be painting your dope with?
Yeah, and hot and perfect, just great, dry.
God, the dope would be dry when it came out of your spray gun before it hit the
Darn
window.
near. Have to hold a little closer to the.
I mean that.
God,
You leaving, Tom?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Thanks for
Hey,
coming.
I see though that you're still sane.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
We need to get a trash can with a little bit.
And thanks for Isaiah coming in, Tom. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing your grandson with you.
Yeah, he enjoyed that.
Very, very
Take
cool.
it easy, Tom.
You take care of yourself.
Take care.
That's how much I drank that whole thing of water since I took the dog out, and I need more.
Yeah, I
Good
understand.
grief.
I tell you, it's hot out here too. You guys, let me catch up on the chat box. We're not too far behind a couple of people. Mark Lumen, excuse me, says those were called NCO cookies. Remember
I know what she was after.
the mints in the toilet?
I had the 2 chicken thighs.
down.
I just muted Mike. You remember the mint in the bathroom? So
Yeah.
Mark Lumen said they called those NCO cookies.
Oh, bad.
Okay,
Very
and then
bad.
Gary Sinclair says, "Good night, all. Good night." Says that.
Good night, Gary.
Riley says, "Good night, Gary." Hey, good night,
Good night,
Gary.
Jeff.
Probably already left, but good night. And you guys, we're kind of low on the likes. We've had 23 concurrent viewers right now, but we've had as many as we eclipsed 32 viewers tonight. Wow.
Hey, cool
We
deal.
only have 18 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do that. That helps our channel grow. It helps this show get to a home feed for when someone goes on a YouTube channel. This will be a recommended viewing. So that's how we will get there and expose more people to Control Line that we love. So please hit the like button. And if you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that most people do not hit the likes. We get most of our likes during the original live stream. So if you happen to be watching this, please hit the like button. That helps us. And then also consider joining the YouTube memberships, which start at $4.99 a month. And we do this every Monday and Friday. We get together and tell stories and talk about what we've been doing. It's a lot of fun. So please come back and join us again. We're not done yet. We're almost ready for the after party, which will be in 10 more minutes. But anyways, I just want to let you know, thank you. Now we're up to 20 likes. So anybody else out there, please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done that yet. And let's go ahead, you guys. We'll go ahead and continue on.
Hey, I got a question for Dennis, and Howard's kind of here too. Why, with electric motors, do they change from DC to AC? Why would you do that? What do you gain? I know, like in my furnace and all the new stuff, all that changes from AC to DC. They run DC motors on all. You know, and it's like, why would you change the current from one to the other? Because it loses efficiency when you do that. You know, and I was just kind of wondering if anyone knows why would they change it to an AC motor?
And the simple answer is, I don't know. I don't know why it's more efficient or more effective to do that.
I don't know.
What's that, Howard?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I was just kind of wondering. I'm like, hell, you know, you got it in a battery form and it's DC, and it's like, well, why wouldn't you leave it there? Why are you going back to AC?
I can only think of one thing, Steve.
What's that?
AC's cooler.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. You know,
I don't know. No,
I don't know because they'd have to put in a chopper. I mean,
I think Leonard just won the chat, by the way. So, all right.
Wow, hang on a second, you guys. From the chat box, we have Wally Haskett. Wally, it's been a long time, buddy. I haven't seen or heard from you in a long time. Thank you for coming in. And Wally says, I hit the like and I do every time I'm in the chat. Well, thank you very much, Wally. And then Jeff Riley says, Steve, a DC motor won't run brushless.
There's why.
Oh, okay.
That's right. That's right. It won't. I hadn't thought of that. That's right.
Oh, okay. Because I was just wondering, you know, why they did that. I didn't realize that. You know.
Okay.
Well, thank
I
you.
got a dumb question.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I tell you, we have some smart people on the chat box and inside here. Boy,
So then are the brushless motors then, I take it they're just a DC motor then? The old in runners or whatever?
no, I think he's saying they're AC, right?
All of them, right? All of them have to be AC then, because the motors. Well, I don't know why, but it seems like
Are in runners
they're all
brushless also?
Dennis is
Okay.
shaking his head yes.
My drill is, or my battery circular saw is brushless, so it must be converting that 18 volt to AC to operate, but they're by far more efficient.
I can tell you this, back in college, our instructor was an incredibly smart individual, and he took a drill and plugged it into a power panel we had in the back of the lab. And instead of running it on 110 AC, he took it on DC, and we had a it wasn't a propeller, but it was actually a piece of a yardstick. He's spinning and using a tachometer to measure the speed. And we measured the speed on AC wide open, and then he converted it to DC and spun it again, and at 80 volts, we were at the same speed that they ran at 110 on AC. So if it'll do it, it'll do it. But I don't know how it all works. I never got into how motors work. It was.
I thought AC was used to be able to carry the voltage of further distance because DC was directly proportional to the resistance of the wire. And so
that's true. In DC, you had to have you had to have a station, I forgot what you call it, but a station to build the power back up because it won't transmit as far.
Yeah, but we're only transmitting, 6 inches.
I know.
That's why
I don't know why it is the way it is. I never thought about that before, but I will look it up tomorrow.
Yeah, because like on my furnace, it's a DC motor, but it has some kind of drive on the end of it, but there's no brushes in it.
Mm-mm.
So I just kind of wonder why they do that. And then, my Dremel tool, I had to replace the brushes in it, and it's AC.
Yeah. Mine always blows that darn collet, that little piece of plastic crap that goes from the motor to the bearing that actually runs the tool.
Yeah.
I've gone through 3 of those silly things so far. Of course, I've had that thing 40 years. So whatever.
Yeah, I about ruined an airplane. The bearing went out in mine.
Ooh.
And yeah, I mean, I'm running along, that thing said, rah! And just ate a hole in the wing and stuff. And I'm like, well, shit, but
yeah,
I'll fix it somehow. But yeah, I spun a bearing in that Dremel, but that Dremel tool is probably 35 years old,
Yeah.
But it finally,
yeah,
the bearing finally went out in it.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
You guys,
John, I got a question for you.
Go ahead. Hang on, Paul. I gotta catch up. Okay, so then Wally Haskett says, I'll be coming in more, guys. And then Wally Haskett says, that is correct, John. I don't know what he's referring to.
Yeah, DC and AC.
Okay, and then Jeff Riley says, that's why you have 3 wires, hot, and ground, but the motor runs off of the phase shift. And then Jeff Riley says, created by the speed control.
Okay.
Created by what?
The speed controller. Speed controller.
All it really does is switch the phases faster and faster, and that lets the motor run faster and faster.
Well,
but anyway,
Dennis was saying that, that was kind of what I was thinking about why they're switching, is that he showed that graph where the power's on, the power's off, and that's how it controls RPM.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of wondering why they would go to AC where they had to turn on and off power, to where DC they could just increase the voltage.
I wonder if it's really AC or if it's just chopper DC, just pulsed DC. You know, they just cut it off, bring it up, cut it off,
They're
bring
like,
it up, cut it off.
like half a cycle.
Yeah. Just disconnect it for half a cycle. I wonder if that's what they're actually doing. I don't know, but I'll find out.
Oh, okay.
I have some books that should tell me how that works, but I never got into the motor side of it. I was always interested in the circuitry. So that's electronics is a lot more than you think it is.
Oh, I know.
People become specialists in this part of it, don't know beans about that part of it.
That's
Well, it's
I had
like
to
I
learn
was
electronics.
about air conditioning, refrigeration. You know,
Yeah.
they make you take classes and classes on how the engineering part of how air conditioning works and all that kind of stuff. And 99% of your problems is electrical.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's always something not working quite right or out of spec or something like that. And it's like, they need to teach it as an electronics class or whatever. And then you give you 3 classes in air conditioning, because the parts they teach you don't really need to know. I mean,
I read somewhere that Tesla was really into DC.
Yes.
And he wanted to power everything with DC. And Edison was into the AC. And
that's true.
when they did
no,
it,
that was the opposite.
I think it's the other way around.
was it?
Yeah.
See, that's how
Tesla
good
was
memory.
AC. Tesla
Anyway.
was AC. Edison was DC.
That's okay. Yeah. Anyway, but they did a head-to-head on that. They found out which one was better for the distance.
Yeah, AC was better for distance. DC was better for distance. AC was better for distance because DC had to have so many repeaters.
Right. Let me end this show here. We're going to go into the after party, but we have had a lot of fun. I don't know about everybody else, but I've had a blast tonight.
It's been fun.
Funny.
I'll catch you guys later.
All right, Mike. Thanks for coming in. Some parts had me almost laughing, and I was almost point of tears. I was laughing so hard. So I've had a really fun time. I hope you guys in the audience had a lot of fun. And if you're watching this as a replay, please give us a thumbs up. Please consider joining our YouTube membership at $4.99 a month. And we do this every Monday and Friday night. And just because I'm going to end the stream, it does not end the conversation. We continue on in the after party. And if you want to come in the after party, you have to be a member of the Stunthangar forum. And I'm in the monologue, I go over that. So if you want to learn more about how to join, it's in the monologue. And so thank you for coming in and watching. We're going to be turning off the live stream, but we will be back again Friday. So go out there and have some fun and come back and tell us all about it, what you did. And without any further ado, I'm going to end the stream. So goodbye, good night, and